What is up, everybody? And why am I on a tiny screen? And there we go. That is perfect. Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crypto Sherpa Show, where I cover the latest cryptocurrency news articles to keep you up to date on what is going on in the crypto space. And yes, I am early today. I will be this entire week. So just if you need to adjust your schedule to tune in live to my show, I will probably be going on around 11:15, 11:20, around this time zone, just because our operator here in Sarasota is out for the week, so I'm going to be covering the front end, and we have new hours here, 12 to 8 at the Sarasota Club, so if you want to stop on by, come on in, I will be here. So that's why the shows are a little earlier today. But what is going on with Bitcoin? We're currently at 87,000 right now. We had a dip yesterday or over the weekend where Bitcoin went from 88 all the way down to 86. Kind of shook me. It was like, did I buy in wrong? But nah, you never buy in wrong. What is going on? But yeah, Bitcoin is coming back to where it was from that little dip going on. Could it go up? Can it follow gold and silver? Because gold and silver are at 5,100 right now, and silver is at 112. Dang, what's going on there? So yeah, Bitcoin's just sitting by waiting. Again, we're still waiting to really won't get any true action until at least Bitcoin reaches our moving average. So if it dips closer to 60,000, then we can go parabolic again. But again, are we in a super cycle? We have CZ in an interview on CNBC talking about him not coming back to Binance against survival on its own. We have an article about that, as well as talking about a super cycle and what he feels about that. So we'll be covering that article. GameStop's moving all their Bitcoin stash over to Coinbase. Are they going to sell? And what else do we have today? Some other local news. But let's go through the Twitter news first to hear what's happening. Today, BlackRock just filed for a Bitcoin premium income ETF. Today, BlackRock has filed an S1 with the SEC for a new iShares Bitcoin premium income ETF. Now, it's going to offer Bitcoin exposure with yield. It generates income by selling covered calls on iBit. And it's designed to monetize BTC's volatility and potentially reduce downside versus holding BTC outright. Now, this marks the next phase of Bitcoin ETF's movement, moving beyond this pure price exposure, but it's towards structured, income-focused products following iBit's historic success. Now, BlackRock is building around Bitcoin, not away from it. And yeah, I think I even saw another article too, for hence why Bitcoin's coming out. Not an article, but a post about the outflows of BlackRock, and they're still selling right now. So until we get more inflows of it, Bitcoin's price is going to slow down. But yeah, they're building around it. They may sell some Bitcoin to use for another fund, but they are utilizing Bitcoin in the best way they can. But what else is going on in the news? Looks like Michael Saylor just bought some more Bitcoin. He bought the dip. Strategy has acquired 2,932 Bitcoin for $264 million at 90,061 per Bitcoin. As of January 25th, we hodl 712,000 Bitcoin so far. And let's see, they purchased that. Was that yesterday? What was Bitcoin's price at? Because 90,000. Let's take a look at that chart again. So where were we yesterday? The 25th. Okay, so unless he bought right at the morning yesterday, then yeah, that kind of makes sense for what fees he might actually be coming for. So if he paid a 2,000 premium, what are his fees when he purchases? I know he does it over the counter and whatnot, but I was curious about that, because every time I see Michael Saylor has a purchase, the Bitcoin price is usually higher than the price it actually was. So I'm just now thinking about what fees does he pay for when he stockpiles that Bitcoin? Well, no, if it was 90,000 right here and it was at the 88,000 pretty much all weekend. That's how it was all weekend, just 80,000. So that's kind of is that a 0.8%, 1%? That could even be a 2% fee he pays for each time. But hey, that's okay. Michael Saylor's going to keep stacking, and he's in it for the long haul. Let's see. Let's continue on with the news. We're about to hit the articles. Let's see. Just in, SEC and CFTC's Project Crypto event is now scheduled for this Thursday. So this event is to discuss their efforts to deliver on President Trump's promise to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. So this could be some bullish news, but it could also be some bearish news. We got to hear what they're going to say. Are we going to go into a shutdown? Because a lot of people on Polymarket are saying that because they can't come up with a conclusion. There's too many differences. But yeah, so they're going to have a discussion. I'll keep you guys informed on what they talk about and let you know what happens. Now let's go into our first article about what's going on with Bitcoin. Actually, we don't even need to cover this article because I think I might have covered it last Friday. I can't remember, but Oklahoma introduces a bill allowing state employees and vendors to be paid in Bitcoin. So adoption is still happening in the Bitcoin space here in the United States, and I love it. So yeah, employees and vendors will be able to be paid in Bitcoin, and this is because of bill. What bill number is it? I know there's a photo. bill number 2064. So, yep, hopefully this bill gets enacted. And again, we're just one step closer. But let's go on to at least more adoption news in Vegas here in the States. Looks like Bitcoin's finding a real-world use case in Las Vegas stores. Let's find about this. So small shops and some bigger chains in Las Vegas are now taking Bitcoin for everyday buys. People scan a QR code, they pay from a phone, and the merchant gets paid. According to the local reports, owners are trying this out to cut the cost of credit card processing and to attract customers who prefer crypto. Now, merchants are cutting costs with Bitcoin. We've seen Steak and Shake do that, and they've been doing it successfully. But reports say that the move is largely about fees. Credit card processing often takes 2.5% to 3.5% of a sale for many small operators. Now, that is painful. Payment tools that accept Bitcoin, often routed over the Lightning Network or through services that can convert crypto to cash, have lowered that burden for merchants. Now, according to Fox 5, more businesses across Las Vegas are now accepting Bitcoin payments from chains like Steak and Shake to small shops and medical practices. Merchants said Bitcoin helps attract new customers and cut costs, while Square has enabled about 4 million users, U.S. merchants, to utilize Bitcoin and accept it. And that was a post on January 4th, 2026. But I feel like this Fox News was actually last year's news, but it's been popping up. I noticed it. I just didn't share it because I thought it was old news. But Square's program, which lets millions of U.S. merchants enable Bitcoin checkout with no processing fee through 2026, and it helps speed up the adoption in the era. Oh, so is this just a one-time thing? I wasn't really sure about the program. They allow merchants to have no processing fee through 2026. That's kind of a promo to really entice them. I wonder what the fees will be afterwards, but this is definitely speeding up adoption for that point. But stores report real transactions. So business owners are reporting real use, not just experiments. Juice stands and cafes have processed payments. Some larger outlets are listed on the public payments map so customers can find them. And here's this chart of the BTC current price. I was just showing the price, a lot was the numbers. But this has meant more foot traffic from people who have traveled with crypto or who prefer to keep their cards for other uses. Now, reports note both new customers and savings on fees as clear benefits. Now, Lightning speeds up payments. The Lightning Network is, if you don't know what the Lightning Network is, it's being used to make payments faster and cheaper as cash registered it, move small Bitcoin payments quickly without long-term waits and transfers can cost. So basically, it's just allowing you to transfer Bitcoin a lot faster than if it was on chain. It's kind of a layer 2 to speed up those transactions. So instead of like paying for Bitcoin on the normal blockchain, could take 10 minutes, could take 30 minutes until the merchant finally receives that payment. It all depends on Bitcoin's time. That's kind of slow. Plus that fee is like 50 cents. With the Lightning Network, it's just a layer on top of Bitcoin's network, and it makes transactions cheaper and instantaneous. So instead of waiting 30 minutes, you're waiting 10 seconds. Not even 10 seconds. It's like a split second. It's already in that next wallet. And also those fees are micros of a penny. So if you didn't know what the Lightning Network are, this is what like merchants are using to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. Now, merchants can scan a QR code, show one on screen, and then the payment is sent from the buyer's wallet and settled almost instantly. Now, this technical fix has made in-person Bitcoin payments workable for the first time at many spots. Now, how are owners seeing it? Well, owners are balancing savings against new risks. Some keep crypto for a short term, then sell it for cash. Others leave part of their receipts in Bitcoin, chargebacks, and that's a problem with cards or reduced when crypto is used. Now, a few places say small boosts in sales followed their switch to crypto, yet long-term patterns are still being watched. Reports have disclosed these mixed outcomes as part of a slow but clear shift. So we're getting data on it, I think, really from the Square merchants out there. So I look forward to the longer-term data we get on how many people actually use Bitcoin to pay for their goods or service and how many didn't. So I'm looking forward to that data once it comes out. But customers are finding new ways to pay. Shoppers are adapting. Tourists who carry crypto find these spots useful. Locals who are curious try the method at least once. Payment apps and merchants directories make the process easier for everyone. And for those who like simple steps, scanning a QR code and approving a payment on a phone works just fine. For others, and it's novelty that might just stick. And it is so simple to do. And I feel a lot more people are going to be able to accept it very soon. Because I was just at the food mart last night. I think it was like an Asian festival downtown Sarasota. And I was trying some of their like the food, the drinks out there, and everybody had QR codes on their banners. It's like, oh, here's for Cash App, here's for Square, here's for like everyone's accepting that QR form of payment now versus just they used to be just cash festivals. Like you couldn't use the card because they didn't have a POS system. But now times are changing, so it's going to get easier and easier, and more likely a company is going to accept it once they realize they're save on fees and get that money a lot faster in their accounts. So yeah, so that is Las Vegas finding new use cases. So yeah, just another part of the United States accepting Bitcoin out there. Now let's continue on with the news. What else is happening? So again, I was mentioning GameStop moves their entire Bitcoin stash. So is this a potential signal sell? Did they already sell? I don't know, but let's find out what happened. So a full sell at current prices would imply about a $76 million loss on GameStop's Bitcoin bet. And having purchased its 4,700 Bitcoin at an average price of $107,900. So if they're planning to sell, they're going to be losing money. So I hope they don't do it, because if not, we're just probably get word of them buying it back in once the narrative gets bullish again. But GameStop has transferred its entire Bitcoin holdings to Coinbase institutional trading platform, sparking speculation that the video game retailer may be reconsidering its Bitcoin treasury strategy. So we'll have to see. But GameStop throws in the towel. Blockchain intelligence platform CryptoQuant asked a post to X on Friday after noticing that GameStop moved its entire 4,710 Bitcoin stash to Coinbase Prime. Now, CryptoQuant said the transfer was likely to sell the holding, noting that a sell with Bitcoin at $90,800 would mean GameStop realizing around $76 million in losses from its Bitcoin bet. Now, GameStop accumulated this Bitcoin across several investments in May at an average purchasing price of $107,900. Now, CryptoQuant's tweet on GameStop throws in the towel. Their on-chain wallet just moved all the Bitcoin holdings to Coinbase Prime, and it's likely to sell. And this happened between May 14th, 2023 to 2025. So they bought 4,700 average price. We already know that. Now they're selling for 90,000, potentially realizing approximately $76 million in losses. And here is their balance sheet showing it. So I don't know if they should, if they will. What's their plan? We'll find out. But GameStop launched a Bitcoin treasury after its CEO, Ryan Cohen, met with strategy chair Michael Saylor last Friday to discuss how such strategies could be best implemented. Now, GameStop hasn't publicly addressed speculation that it has sold or intends to sell its Bitcoin, and Cointelegraph reached out to GameStop for comment, but didn't receive an immediate response. Now, it comes as a Wednesday filing revealed that GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen bought another 500,000 GME shares worth over $10 million, contributing to the retailer's share price rising over 3% on Thursday. Now, establishing Bitcoin treasuries became a popular institutional trend in 2024 and 2025, and that's so true. There were so many companies announcing it, though many saw their shares tumble in the back half of 2025 as the sustainability of such strategies was called into question. So maybe they over-leveraged, which is because again, that's like a good point, like just on having a strategy before you dive into crypto and Bitcoin in general. Like, don't overcloud yourself. Like, don't throw it all into it if you don't know what you're doing. And then also, if you don't have that money to lose, like whatever investment you do, it can only be what you're willing or can afford to lose. Like, because if you put in too much and you got bills to pay, you're most likely going to sell it before anything happens. So just do what you can. And that's what kind of these companies, I believe, did. They went all in because everyone was talking about it. Everyone set up their own strategy. We got countries and governments. So they might have just did too much than they could have handled. But again, we're seeing what these companies are doing now. But more than 190 publicly traded companies hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets, while many others have also launched Ethereum, Solana, and other altcoin treasuries over the last 12 months. Now, crypto treasuries remain included in the MSCI market index. So corporate crypto treasuries, particularly Strategy, scored a major win earlier this month when Morgan Stanley Capital International decided not to exclude digital asset treasury companies from its market index. For now, the MSCI said it needed more time to distinguish between investment companies and other companies that just hold digital assets as part of their core operations. And exclusions from the MSCI indexes could have seen Strategy and other DATs lose billions of dollars in passive capital inflow. So again, this is what's really going on with crypto right now. Crypto treasuries still remain included in the MSCI because there was debate back then, but they stuck around. GameStop would lose money if they do buy it. They were buying on top of the bandwagon that everyone was starting a crypto strategy. Just it was everyone's doing it, so they got into. And again, they moved their crypto to Coinbase, and that's kind of a telltale sign that they are going to sell. So we'll let you know what happens in there. If they do sell, I'm sure Bitcoin's price will reflect it and have a little dip, not a huge dip, because it's only 4,700 Bitcoin. Because again, that's still a lot of Bitcoin. That is, like, don't get me wrong, I wish I had 4,700 Bitcoin, but like when you compare that to MicroStrategy's like holdings of 712,000, kind of small. So it's not going to move the markets completely, but again, it is going to do something. But that's what's going on with Coinbase. And I guess I did have this little popped up about ETFs, and like BlackRock also still dumping their BTC and ETH. They just deposited 1,800 Bitcoin and 1,500 Ethereum to Coinbase Prime. So usually when we see companies move crypto or Bitcoin into a Coinbase Prime account, they're planning on selling. We've seen it happen before. So just wanted to share that out there. So that just shows prices may dip. Just keep that in mind. Now, that is really the Bitcoin news. Let's talk about Ethereum preparing for quantum era with new security team and funding. So, yep, everyone's getting ready for quantum computing. Like, Bitcoin's got nothing to worry about. I'm pretty sure I covered that. But other altcoins and projects out there, they got to get ready for it. So, Ethereum developers are to launch a bi-weekly sessions on quantum-resistant transactions as the foundation commits $2 million in new funding to harden core cryptography. Now, the Ethereum Foundation has made a post-quantum security a central focus of the network's long-term roadmap, announcing the formation of a dedicated post-quantum team. Now, the new team will be led by Thomas Corriger, a cryptographic engineer at the Ethereum Foundation, with support from Emil, a cryptographer closely associated with Lean VM, according to the crypto research Justin Drake. Now, after years of quiet R&D, EF management has officially declared PQ security a top strategic priority. Drake said in a Saturday post on X, "It's now 2026, timelines are accelerating, and it's time to go full." Is that post-quantum? What was that PT team again? Yep, post-quantum team. It's time to go full post-quantum. So the research described Lean VM, a specialized, minimalist, zero-knowledge proof virtual machine, as a potential building block of Ethereum and their post-quantum strategy. Now, EF backs post-quantum push with developer session funding. So Drake outlined that several near-term steps aimed at preparing the ecosystem. A bi-weekly developer session focused on post-quantum transactions is set to begin next month, led by Ethereum researcher Antonio Sanso. These sessions will concentrate on users facing protection, including protocol-level cryptographic tools, account abstraction pathways, and longer-term work on aggregating transaction signatures using Lean VM. Now, the Ethereum Foundation is also backing its push with new funding. Drake announced a $1 million Poseidon prize to strengthen the Poseidon hash function, alongside another $1 million initiative known as the Proximity Prize, both aimed at advancing post-quantum cryptography. Now, here's Justin Drake's tweet. "Today marks an inflection in the Ethereum Foundation's long-term quantum strategy. We formed a new post-quantum team led by the brilliant Thomas Corriger. Joining him is Emil, one of the world's class talents behind Lean VM, and Lean VM is cryptographic cornerstone of our entire post-quantum strategy." Now, after years of quiet R&D, Ethereum Foundation management has officially declared post-quantum security a top strategic priority. Now, our journeys began in 2019 with the E3.0 quantum security presentation at Starkware Sessions. And then since 2024, PQ has been central to the Lean Ethereum vision. The pace of post-quantum engineering breakthroughs since then has been nothing short of phenomenal. It's now 2026, and the timelines are accelerating. Time to go full PQ. And let's see, he lists the PQ ACD, PQ Foundation, and PQ DevNet. So just what they're doing. But on the engineering front, Drake said multi-client post-quantum consensus development networks are already live, with multiple teams participating and coordinating through the weekly interoperability calls. Now, furthermore, the Foundation will host a dedicated post-quantum event in October, followed by a post-quantum day in late March, ahead of the Ethereum CC, and educational efforts, including video content and materials aimed at enterprises, are also underway with this. Now, other people that have been forming teams to protect against quantum threat is Coinbase. We covered that last week. Coinbase formed a board to assess quantum risks. The announcement comes amid growing sensitivity in crypto markets to quantum risk. On Wednesday, Coinbase revealed that it has established an independent advisory board to evaluate how advances in quantum computing could impact the cryptography security major blockchain network, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, the board brings together experts from academia and industry in quantum computing, cryptography, and blockchain security, and they will push public research and guidance for developers, organizations, and users. Its first position paper is expected in early 2027. So, again, like people, teams, businesses, blockchains are just going to form protection against quantum risks out there. Coinbase is using quantum computers to build a board to let them know about like what's going on, how to fight it, and same's going to go with the Ethereum or the PQ team there. Like eventually they're going to be using some quantum computing as well to help them keep the Ethereum network secure, come up with new strategies, and stay up to date. So Ethereum is preparing for quantum. I'll let you know what other chains are going to be doing so, or if they already are protected, because some were built already before that. So yeah, so that's what's going on with Ethereum news. I also think Tom Lee Jones Bitmine also bought some more Ethereum, added to his Ethereum reserve. So yeah, so that's our Ethereum. Now let's move on to CZ. So I was mentioning that he's talking about a super cycle for crypto and Bitcoin, as well as his return to Binance isn't likely to happen. So Binance co-founder Changpeng Zhao says that Binance doesn't need a backseat driver, even though he says his pardon from Donald Trump could allow him to. Now, Binance co-founder Changpeng Zhao has ruled out returning to the crypto exchange despite a pardon from US President Donald Trump, opening the door for it to be possible. Zhao told CNBC Squawk Box on Sunday that it's his understanding that the pardon means the former restrictions are completely lifted, but shot down any suggestions of going back to Binance. He said, I haven't really needed to go back. I didn't really want to. I thought it was a pretty good way for me to step down away from Binance after 7 years, he said. Now, at the time, it was very painful. I didn't like it, but after you get used to it, I don't think it's good for me to go back. I think we should leave room for other strong leaders to grow, Zhao added. And here is the full interview you can watch on Twitter or even CNBC, but a candid conversation from Davos on prison, pardon, and what freedom means going forward. And that was the full interview. Now, Zhao pleaded guilty back in November 2023 to failing to maintain an effective anti-money laundering program at Binance and was later sentenced to 4 months in prison, along with being prohibited from working at the exchange. Now, Trump pardoned Zhao in October, which drew scrutiny from some U.S. lawmakers over Binance's ties to Trump-linked crypto ventures, but Trump denied knowing who Zhao was. Now, Binance doesn't need a backseat driver. So Zhao said that Binance hasn't missed a beat since he stepped down, with 2 capable CEOs at the helm and increases to several growth metrics, including users and market shares. In December, an open letter last year, the exchange's leadership Richard Teng and Zhao's long-term partner, Yi He, announced the Binance user base had climbed over to 300 million, and the total product trading volume for the year was $34 trillion. Now, he said, I just thought, look, they don't need a backseat driver today. I'm still a shareholder, Zhao said, adding that he is just a pretty passive shareholder. And today, when I wanted to give them advice, I just write it on Twitter. So that's all he needs to do. Now, he also talked about the Bitcoin super cycle is on the cards for 2026. I know this is part what everyone's wanting to hear. So coming into the new year, crypto prices and sentiment have been in decline. However, Zhao predicts Bitcoin could experience a super cycle in the next 12 months. And along with others in the space, has speculated its 4-year cycle might be dead. Now, in economics, a super cycle is an extended period of outsized growth, indicating a major shift underpinned by strong fundamentals over many years, according to CoinMarketCap. And normally, Bitcoin follows a 4-year cycle. If you look at historic data, every 4 years, there's an all-time high, and then there's a drop. So I explained, but I think this year, given the US being so pro-crypto and every other country is kind of following, I do think we will see this. We will probably break the 4-year cycle. And so, yeah, if you do look at the charts, it's like, yeah, every single thing. We've always talked about cycles, but we feel like it's kind of broken. Like here's the chart, just switching back and forth. So, yeah, every 4 years, pump, then the dip. 4 years go by, pump, dip. And then we had another 4 years. This is where we were at, pump, and we're feeling like we're kind of done. So if we can break out again, we do need to go past the 200-day moving average. So the faster we get down to 60, the more likely we're going to see that super cycle hit. If it doesn't, then we're just going to have to wait for the next Bitcoin happening. But CZ does believe we might see one in the next 12 months. So fingers crossed. I would love for that to happen. But let's take a quick commercial break, rest my throat a bit, and I'll be back with my final two articles for you. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.
And we're back. And yes, you guys want to learn more about our programs we offer here at the Crypto Club, check out bitcoinben.io or text us at 941-413-8080. I think the best program we offer is our confidential bulk purchases. So if you don't want to go through a change, maybe we're an option for you. But let's continue on with the news. Oh, I forgot about this. I had this little Twitter post after that Binance article with CZ and everything, but it looks like Binance just announced listings of a Tesla USDT perpetual contract and leaving 24/7 trading on its platform. So stocks are coming to the crypto side, the blockchain network. And yeah, you're going to be trading Tesla, the favorable one out there that everyone keeps trading. I love Tesla. I love Elon Musk. I just don't want to touch it, but who knows? If it's on Binance, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. And again, it's going to be like if we're tokenizing stocks to hit a blockchain to be tradable, that is really the only reason for NFTs to have a real purpose. Like back then, like that's going to lead into our next article on from boom to goodbye, the NFT marketplace Nifty Gateway to end its operation. So yeah, NFTs were a big hype in 2020, 2021, and everyone was on board to get these little digital collectibles to hold on their crypto wallet. But again, that was all hype. It wasn't really a huge utility. The only true utility behind it was the blockchain tech behind it of showing actual ownership of a product or good. So you can track it down on chain. It's a reversible, but again, there was no really profit. It's like there's no utility in just having a little JPEG of a zombie. What are the top ones out there? There were crypto punks, there were crypto kitties. There were so many just useless ones out there that had no person. People were spending a bunch of money on it. But if you want to get tokenized, but again, the idea was though to be able to utilize the token on chain and keep it secure, know where it's going, and that's where NFTs really do. So when you hear about like stocks being tokenized, homes being tokenized, it means they're just going to become NFTs. So I know NFTs have had a bad word, but that's the actual use case for it. I always said it like when we were pumping, 99% of NFTs are useless. They're going to go away, and most likely they are. Like we're seeing it now, but there's still 1% that have utility and actual use case in the space, and that's what we're seeing with the Tesla USD perpetual trades contract and to enable 24/7 trading on chain. So that's what's going on there. But let's talk about Nifty Gateway ending its operations. A farewell to NFTs, pretty much. But Nifty Gateway, the marketplace that once helped bring NFT drops to a wider audience, and will stop running its marketplace on February 23rd, 2026. So here is the final date to get off those NFTs off that platform if you have it. Or I think your wallet's really just linked to that account. So it'll still be in your wallet and you'll still be able to access it, just not on Nifty Gateway. Now, the company put this site into a withdrawal-only mode the same day it made the announcement, and users were told they must move any remaining funds and NFTs off the platform before that date. Okay, so I guess they do need to withdraw everything because everything's going out. It's not just in your wallet, so it must have been a platform. But withdrawal windows open. So according to the company, withdrawal tools are available now. Reports note users can pull USD or Ethereum balances through a linked Gemini exchange account or send funds to their bank via Stripe. Now, emails with step-by-step instructions will be sent to account holders, and a shutdown notice already appears on the Nifty Gateway homepage. The aim, as described by the owner, is to let people retrieve what they own before the platform goes dark. So here's a tweet from them. Today we're announcing the Nifty Gateway platform will be closing February 23rd, 2026. Starting today, Nifty Gateway is in withdrawal-only mode, and Nifty Gateway was launched back in 2020 with a vision to revolutionize digital art. Since launching, Nifty support dozens of NFTs and projects out there. So they had a good run for the 4 years. But again, they started when the hype was happening, and I knew it wasn't going to last. but a decision to reassign resources. Based on reports from Gemini, the closure is meant to let the parent firm concentrate on the building one bigger app for customers. The move highlights how interest and trading activity in many NFT markets have cooled from the highs seen earlier years. Now, some collectors and artists are left scrambling to rehome items they once sold or stored on Nifty Gateway. And it's an end of an early player. Nifty Gateway helped many buying NFTs easier for people who preferred credit cards and familiar checkout flows. It launched as a high-profile marketplace and hosted major drops from well-known creators. The platform supported hundreds of millions in sales at its peak and played a clear part in bringing NFT art into the mainstream headlines. Now its exit marks the end of an important chapter for the wave of marketplaces. Now again, what owners must do right now if you have anything on Nifty Gateway, owners should check their inboxes for the official instructions, confirm where their tokens are stored, and then move assets before the deadline. If NFTs are stored in custodial wallets on the site, they will need to be transferred out. Now, USD and Ethereum balances should be withdrawn or moved into a connected Gemini account if the option suits the owner. Waiting past the closure date will reduce options. Now, a quiet turning point for many collectors, this will feel like another sign that the early boom years have passed, and for creators, the change raises questions about where drops and secondary sales will happen next. Now, Gemini says it will keep supporting NFTs through its other products, including the Gemini wallet, but the specific ways that creators and buyers reconnect with those audiences will depend on new tools and services that arrive in the next month. So again, so long, Nifty Gateway. It was a fun time. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when we were living in that space, it was a fun time just to play around with these websites, buy a little digital collectible, hold it, and that was it. Some of them were cool, where it actually gave you use cases, not on Nifty Gateway, but some were cool, where it's like, oh, I have this. This unlocks this website. I can play this game. I can use my character in game, or it's like I can watch this video because the website's token protected. So unless you have that NFT in your wallet, you can't watch the video. So it was fun during that time, but we're just making a change now. Again, we're utilizing NFTs for how they should have been, strictly just tokenization, improving ownership, have potentially real world assets out there. So that is our Nifty Gateway news. Farewell. Thank you for your time. And yeah, so that is it. No, we got one last article. Looks like a crypto scam happened on Matcha Meta, and I just always got guys keep you informed on what type of scams go on, and so that way you do not fall for them, or if you are a part of it and that you weren't affected yet, you may need to move us. So that's why I always bring up some scam news articles, even though it's bearish news out there. It's fun news, it's sending fear, but it's to keep us safe. So let's go through this article to talk about Matcha Meta and how the breach tied to SwapNet exploit drains up to $16.8 million. So Matcha Meta urges users to revoke one-time approvals for SwapNet's router contract after a smart contract vulnerability saw as much as $16.8 million stolen on the base blockchain. Now, decentralized exchange aggregator Matcha Meta suffered a security breach on Sunday through one of its primary liquidity providers, SwapNet, in the latest cyber attack tied to exploiting smart contract vulnerabilities. Now, Matcha Meta disclosed the breach in a post on X on Sunday, warning that users who had previously granted token approvals to SwapNet's router contract may be at risk. Now, the protocol urged users to immediately revoke all approvals granted to SwapNet's router contract to prevent further losses. Now, estimates of the stolen funds vary. Blockchain security company CertiK said about 13.3 million was taken, while PeckShield said at least 16.8 million was stolen on the Base network. So far, 16.8 million worth of crypto has been drained on Base, and the attacker swapped the 10.5 million USDC for 3,655 Ethereum, and then has begun bridging funds to Ethereum, wrote PeckShield on Monday. Now, CertiK said that the exploit stemmed from an arbitrary call on the OX SwapNet contract that led attackers to transfer funds approved to it. Now, Matcha said that the exposure was linked to SwapNet rather than its own infrastructure. Cointelegraph has contacted Matcha Meta for comment on the cause of the vulnerability and any plans to compensate the affected users or strengthen the safeguards, but not received a response yet. And here is that tweet from Matcha Red saying that they're aware of the SwapNet. So if you have any SwapNet signatures contracts, revoke them now, or whatever wallet you're using with that. Maybe just set up a brand new one and move everything over there. That's always a full-on fail-safe way to know you're safe. But the incident comes 2 weeks after another smart contract exploit resulted in $26 million in losses from an offline computational protocol, TrueBit, and a 99% crash for the TrueBit token. Now, smart contracts are the biggest target for crypto hackers out there. So, smart contract flaws have emerged as the leading cause of crypto losses. Smart contract vulnerabilities accounted for 30.5% of all the crypto exploits in 2025, with 56 cybersecurity incidents, according to Slomis' year-end report. And account compromises and hacked X accounts account for 24% in second place. And here's a distribution of attacks in 2025: the X account, Discord, business, Oracle, phishing, rug pulls, and whatnot. Now, security research say that advances in artificial intelligence are also reshaping how vulnerabilities are identified. In December, commercially available generative AI agents uncovered $4.6 million worth of smart contract exploits in existing protocols through Anthropic's Cloud, Opus 4.5, Cloud Sonnet 4.5, and OpenAI's ChatGPT. So AI is helping find some of these flaws happening too right now, because some smart contracts have these vulnerabilities, but they just haven't been spotted yet. So just to be aware out there, if you made anything with SwapNet, here's a bigger one. SwapNet, like any contract signed it. I know it's very, very slim. Some of you might not even have heard of this out there, but just if you ever interacted with that one time, you never know. I'm trying to forewarn that one person who did do it. Just take a look. You may need to make a change or do some protocols to keep your wallet safe. So just, I know this is like a small time hack out there, still pretty big, 16.8 million. That's a lot of money stolen. It's just for the amount of people that was probably what was it? To the people who were affected by it, that small number, like that's why I'm sharing this. So, and again, this is also preventing people out there who never heard of this. Maybe they just cross their mind now that, oh, swap that, just think in your mind, so there was something going on there and you won't link or do a transaction with it. So just keeping you guys safe out there. Now let's take a look at our Fear and Greed Index, because that was our final article of the day. We are at a 29. People are fearful still, so that's always a great buying opportunity. And again, Bitcoin's price is currently sitting at 87,000, so let's see where we go. Are we still going to be bouncing down to 86, or will we make our way back up to 92? Only markets will tell, but we'll see what happens in the news in the space. But everybody, have an awesome day today. Again, my shows will be earlier this week, so I always expect them to go live around 11:15, 11:30 time, and that's when I'll be bringing you the news. So everyone, have a great day, stay safe, and I will see you again tomorrow. Peace, guys.